So last year, at the very end of 2019, my top 30 strongest One Piece characters was this. Number 30 was Yasop, 29 was Smoothie, 28 was Magellan, 27 was NL, 26 was Rob Lucci, 25 was Eustace Captain Kidd, 24 was Dofi, 23 is Queen, 22 is Lucky Roo, 21 is Rayleigh, 20 is Marco, 19 is Garp, 18 is Shiryu, 17 is Sengoku, 16 is Luffy, 15 is King, 14 is Katakuri, 13 is Sabo, 12 Ben Beckman, 11 Green Bull, 10 Fujitora, 9 Kizaru, 8 Aokiji, 7 Mihawk, 6 Dragon, 5 Blackbeard, 4 Akainu, 3 Big Mom, 2 Kaido, and 1 Shanks. That was my top ranking characters of 2019, in the end of 2019. So yesterday we did the 2020 stream for the top 30 strongest characters in One Piece. And this stream is 10 hours long. 10 hours of nothing but cancer. Stage 10 cancer. Once you get it, you're guaranteed to die. 1000%. 10. So if you have the time, check it out. Dude.
And then new best girl, Yamato.
Wow.
I do not know why people put Yamato.
Yo, I don't. Yeah, Yamato's done like a few good things, but it's like, wait a minute, dude. What are we talking about?
She has a Thunder Bagua.
Shouts to Taekwon, of course. Shouts to JD Legend, no doubt about that. As well as the tier 3 cats as a whole that came in. It was a fan, of course, as well as other guests. Of course, a nigga love to Dratmar as well. Dratmar dropped the biggest donation I've ever seen in my entire life. In my entire streaming career, I have never seen a donation that big for me personally, and that blew my mind. So Dratmar, from me to you, much love forever and always, my God.
What happened, bro?
What do you mean? What?
Wait for it. Everyone changed their list. Everyone changed their list. Dratmar's number 1. Let's go.
Alright.
I don't.
Wait, what happened?
Also, Revan, check your DMs real quick.
It was a really damn fun cancer stream. It's guaranteed to kind of get you on tilt, no doubt about that. But of course, during that stream, I gave my full top 30 list. Now, however, this year was a bit different because this year I did have honorable mentions. 5 total honorable mentions. So they'll be like, let's say you're 31 through 35, but in no real particular order. So my list this year did change quite a bit. Even though we haven't gotten that many chapters of One Piece this year because of the virus stuff compared to previous years, my list did change despite that, number 1. And then number 2, this is as of the latest chapter 999, not the big fat 1000, all right? Even though that chapter is out via scanlations, I'm not reading it until the official comes out because I am a good pirate. I am a pirate like Monkey D and the crew. The rest of y'all are bad pirates, and bad pirates get sent to the goddamn gallows. Y'all go and walk the plank. But me, I'm going on this great adventure to find the One Piece and the All Blue. Mwah. Glorious. And shoutouts to, of course, Viz Media for being awesome. Let's get right into it. Number 30 this year for me was NL. Number 29 for me was Zoro. Number 28 was Dofi. Number 27 was Sanji. No cap. We'll get into it, trust me. Number 26 was Rob Lucci. 25, Weevil, who was not on my list last year, now on my list. 24, Queen. 23, Kid. 22, Lucky Roo. 21, Rayleigh. 20, City of the Rain. 19, Garp. 18, Marco. 17, King. 16, Sengoku. 15, Luffy. 14, Sabo. 13, Katakuri. 12, Green Bull. 11, Fujitora. 10, Ben Beckman. 9, Kizaru. 8, Aokiji. 7, Mihawk. 6, Dragon / manga. Inside joke. 5, Akainu. 4, Blackbeard. 3, Big Mom. 2, Kaido. 1, Shanks. Now, let's go from top bottom.
Buzz!
Shanks, I think, maintains the number 1 spot for me personally because despite all of Kaido's greatness this year, i.e. lifting up the entirety of Onigashima, being absolutely phenomenal, and then some, taking the attacks of the Red Scabbards and getting wounded, but regardless, recovering from those wounds for the most part. Like, the man is clean. Kaido, still, we know, according to the official translations, had an altercation with Shanks before Marineford War. Now, I know, folks, oh my god, but people have their own assumptions on what happened. it could be the case where, yeah, Shanks gave Kaido some whiskey. Kaido, I think, is more of a Hennessy guy. All right, fine, fair enough. But it doesn't matter if you think that Shanks gave Kaido a drink, or he paid off Kaido, or he now towered in front of Kaido. Please. But in this volume number 59, at the beginning of chapter 580, it simply says, and I quote, "It's the red-haired pirates. Oh my god." The scuffle with another of the 4 emperors, Kaido, was only yesterday, and he's here already? When you look at the end of Marineford War, Shanks gets an absolutely gigantic portrayal spike. And Kaido is, without a doubt, a part of that portrayal spike. And Shanks comes out, in this case, the superior, because he's the one that arrives to Marineford War and stops Kaido from doing so, not the other way around. Though there's a great fan chapter on that, I think from the Library of Ohara. Check it out. Pretty good, actually. And also something that I have to factor in, too, for Shanks, is that Shanks has a bounty of 4 billion plus. He's in the same camp as Kaido and Big Mom in that sense. And they've been Yonkos far longer than Shanks has been, especially Big Mom. 6 years deep into a Yonko from the post-time skip. 4 years since the pre-time skip. And Blackbeard, who became a Yonko only a year ago, is at 2.2 billion. So, to me, Shanks is special in more ways than one. Now, moving on, Blackbeard and Kainu, I did change from last year as well, because I revisited Marineford War. I kind of realized that Akainu wasn't as dominant as folks said that he was when you reread the entire thing, number one. In particular, when it came to the Marco and Akainu engagements. Number 2 was actually seeing Marco versus Big Mom in latest chapters, where Big Mom could just dominate Marco, and honest to God, I don't think a single admiral could ever dominate Marco. Now, on top of the fact that we have Sabo, Limber, Karasu, Morley take on 2 admirals, and Fujitora scuffed up from that battle, we have no idea what happened to Sabo at all, as well as Morley or Karasu, Limber, and so on. But it does give the admirals a little bit of a hit in terms of their portrayal, I'd argue. Again, not like a big hit, just like a little bit of a thing. Like, oh, okay, fine. I can consider that guys who I wouldn't put in my top 30, I mean, until we actually see what they can do, Morley, Karasu, Limerick, and so on, them working as a unit can take on 2 admirals. 2 admirals. So again, the admirals go down a little bit, the first commanders go up a little bit, and then the Yonko maintain form, essentially. Now, the next thing that I thought was a big thing, Ben Beckman being over Fujitora and Greenbull. It's kind of one of the same with the reasons I did before about all the first commanders going up. That includes Ben Beckman as well. But also, I think that the newer admirals, Greenbull, Fujitora, they may not be up to snuff compared to the older school admirals. So again, people like Kuzan, former admiral of course, Kuzan, Kizaru, Akainu. Even though he's gravity, right? Fujitora is gravity, and so gravity in a sense should be stronger than light itself, Kizaru, because in theory, like a Blackbeard, gravity can even suck in light itself. But I think that is too scientific in terms of how Oda's going to actually gauge the power of these admirals. Because Kizaru has been an admiral longer, and Fujitora is a brand new admiral, as well as Greenbull, even though they're in that same camp of power, they're the lowest in that camp of power. And then Ben Beckman, who I personally rank as the highest among the vice captains, Ben Beckman, whose IQ apparently is the highest coming out of the East Blue. And then also in the Vivid Cards, they do note that apparently Ben Beckman, his power or his might or something of that sort is apparently comparable to that of Shanks, which is kind of crazy. Now, Katakuri being over Sabo and Luffy, still Luffy. Oh my god, King, what? Still? Well, first of all, Sabo over Luffy I think is still the case because I think he's big brother until Luffy can really... I think there has to be a little bit more on Luffy's end. Luffy's gotten stronger for damn sure, absolutely without question. But I need to see what happens with this whole Kaido fight to say that Luffy's over Big Bro. That's the first thing. Now for Katakuri, in magazine number 10, it was revealed by one of the editors or the folks that work at the magazine. They said in the magazine 10, flat out, what I've been saying for years, that Katakuri was stronger than Luffy. That proved me correct in more ways than one. So I've argued time and time again that Luffy and Katakuri was more of a draw rather than an actual victory. Even though he's gone through, currently, Luffy's gone through Rio training, and on top of that, we see how in both anime and manga, he can expand his hand without doing the whole blowing into the thumb Gear 3 thing, which is great, fantastic. But recognize that, again, Katakuri could have beaten Luffy a few times over, but he did not because of his own internal struggles. And then, his armor haki, from a hardening standpoint, was already superior than Luffy's. So one thing we have not seen in the entire story is how does Rio this new technique of haki, how does it stack up to other techniques of armor haki? So in this case, how would Ryo, the one that can go inside of objects, that what Luffy's doing, not the pushback one, but it pushes and it goes inside and does internal organ damage. How does that Ryo, how does that haki technique stack up to a very powerful armor haki hardening like what Katakuri had? Because even in Snake Man, Luffy's armor haki hardening was still inferior to Katakuri's armor haki hardening. So how does that work exactly? We haven't seen it in the story yet, because apparently Kaido, even though he has hardening, at least he should, or armor haki just period, we haven't seen him use that for defensive measures at this point in time, as in chapter 999. We haven't seen him do that to block against these Scabbard's attacks. So Oda has to flesh out a lot more things when it comes to these haki interactions. But again, keep in mind that in terms of armor haki, Katakuri was already on a superior level than Luffy, at least in one of the stages of haki, I'd argue. Now, but I'm gonna guess honestly that, let's say middle of Act 4, maybe at the end of Act 4, Act 5, he's gonna be stronger than Katakuri. Definitively so. And Luffy may actually be in the top 10 come the end of this arc. Maybe, I'm not too sure. I need to see a lot more feats from Luffy. Alright, a lot more feats. And actually very, very important too. When I say feats, I mean what a character actually does, combat-wise, within a story. So there are two main ways I gauge how strong a character is. Number one are the feats, and number two is portrayal. Portrayal is essentially your interpretation of the story, essentially. Feats are what the character actually does within the story. So I value them both equally. The thing about One Piece is that because we don't see a lot of characters perform enough feats, we have to rely a lot more on portrayal in order to gauge power. But portrayal it fluctuates wildly, man. It oscillates like there's a goddamn earthquake when it comes to portrayal. And then it's a smooth up and down wave, like a ripple in a pond for feats in comparison. Because feats, we see what the character actually does. That's very important. And so we'll get to that later on in the video, because that's gonna be a big, big thing. King and Marco, I think that's fine. King knocks off the ship with a no-name attack. Marco does the same thing with the name attack. At this point in time, I do put King over Marco. That's up to change. I'm not against that. And also Sengoku, I would say, is the strongest of the Old Man trio. The Old Man trio being Rayleigh, Garp, and Sengoku. I put Sengoku over Garp as well as Rayleigh, in this sense because of Duffer Power and also Conqueror's Haki. All three of them are all legendary figures in the world of One Piece, but because of their age, at least two of them, both Rayleigh and Garp, have noted to their age being a factor in their powers decreasing. And then on top of that, Sengoku, because of Duffer ability, we don't know how that works over the course of time. I'm not too sure if Duffer powers wane the same way as one's physical capabilities do in One Piece. Therefore, I have to kind of really give the edge to Sengoku. Maybe he was stronger, Garp was, than Sengoku in the past, but in the present, I can't give Garp that courtesy, nor Rayleigh. And even though Rayleigh has the best feats among the trio, I would argue, because of the stuff with Garp and the Rocks Pirates teaming up with Goldie Roger, because of the Odin flashback, and you have Goldie Roger mention Sengoku and Garp by name, and because their feats are also fairly impressive, their portrayal is high enough to where they overtake Rayleigh. Weevil is a bit of an odd situation, because the longer we get into the series and Weevil hasn't done anything, the more I have to raise his power, essentially. Luffy and Weevil may get involved in some way, shape, or form, the same for Marco Weevil as well, potentially, but by the time that happens, everyone's gonna be stronger, essentially, because, well, maybe not Marco, but Luffy and company will be for damn sure. So in the future of the series, whatever Weevil is involved with, or whomever he's involved with, he also has to have the power to back that up, obviously. Especially if Luffy and Weevil get involved. Because Luffy coming out of this battle with Kaido, again, I think is going to be significantly stronger. So Weevil being Whitebeard's kid, and that kind of stuff, him, maybe he has the laugh. In his case, it's
that's just wrong.
Who the hell knows? This man, oh, I'm telling you, his IQ is barely breaking 3. 3! His physical strength, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be devastating. I can't say he's gonna be as strong as Marco. I really can't say that. I can't say that right now. But I put him in the bracket where I put folks that would be the 2nd Division Commander equivalents. Now, NL is my number 30 because, again, portrayal and feats. I value feats just as much as portrayal. To this day, no one in the verse, in terms of overall feats, comes even close to NL. That is not an exaggeration. by any stretch of the imagination. That's not. And all he needs is just a smidge of armor haki, and he's set. He's set. Folks want to say, okay, well, his durability is so low. He got one shot. That never happened. He took several attacks by Luffy in the pre-time skip, several big blows by Luffy in the pre-time skip, and still kept on fighting. And ultimately fooled Luffy and got him off of his ship. Like, what are you doing? Okay, I'm done with you, man. Come on. The moon. Here we go. And also, for a portrayal perspective, his bounty would be an equivalent to Ace's bounty. Ace had a bounty of 550 million. His bounty would be 500 million if he was in the Blue Sea. So Enno's in the top 30 still, but come next year, I don't know. Come next year, probably not. Probably not, because I'm pretty sure characters like Jinbei, Yamato, and so on will... Actually, let me get that too real quick. I have 5 honorable mentions. They are Magellan, Law, Jinbei, Yasop, and Yamato. These characters are in, like, let's say my 31 to 35 spot, in no particular order. Initially, I did have Smoothie in my honorable mentions, but I placed her for Yamato because Yamato is just better. And Smoothie, after Sparrow, he's climbing the waterfall and he's... Oh, come on, really? I'm done. Now, that being said, it's time for the cap. Oh my god, I can't lie, I can't believe how could you... It's time to post CAP with the blue hat in chat.
What? But I'm not a rapper.
Sanji over Dofi over Zoro. Rob Lucci, if you want me to, I can do a full-on, like, hour-long, comprehensive video on all the details for all the characters. I can do that. Sanji, Dofi, Zoro. How can I do this? Well, it's very simple. Feats. Again, feats are equally as valuable as portrayal. And how I view Sanji and Zoro has never really changed, where Sanji and Zoro are relatively equal in terms of combat ability. That being said, Sanji has fought against King the Wildfire, clashed against King the Wildfire. King the Wildfire was going to, quote-unquote, blast Sanji in half with a point-blank piercing beak attack. That whole stand area is blown out, and Sanji walks away from that with virtually 0 damage. That is a phenomenal durability feat, to the point where it is comparable, I'd argue, to Gear 4 Bound Man Luffy in terms of just raw durability. King the Wildfire, as far as I understand it, is the second strongest of the Beast Pirates. It could be the case where King, Queen, and Jack all equal in power, but I kind of doubt that. He would be the one to fight against Ben Beckman or Katakuri if the Beast Pirates waged war against the Red Air Pirates or the Big Mom Pirates. He is the Katakuri equivalent, and Katakuri is stronger than Doflamingo, because we see Luffy having a much harder time against Katakuri than Doflamingo. And mind you, this is not King's strongest attack. No, of course not. But at the same time, it's not as meager as a Katakuri Jelly Bean Flick, or when Katakuri stopped Luffy from destroying the Mother Caramel Fort for the first time, and he kicked him with that giant Haki Mochi kick, and he got stuck into that. No. This is different. The only thing I can think of that Katakuri can do that is actually comparable to this, and you can say I'm being biased, that's fine. Listen. Of course I'm biased. I try and point that out and weed it out. But when the facts are there, and I just call them out. The only thing I compare it to in terms of a devastating, piercing blow that Katakuri could offer that was intended to kill Luffy is the Mole Spear Thrust. That is the only thing. Now, to be fair, Sanji was bleeding a bit in the face, and then he wasn't bleeding, but the raid suit itself was fine. So essentially speaking, with the body of the raid suit, Sanji has a Gear 4 durability level feat, which means that if Doflamingo were to use the athlete thread or use the overheat rope, he could not damage Sanji's raid suit, or you have to do, in this case, far more powerful techniques like the off-white. He have to awaken and use the off-white and that kind of stuff to defeat Sanji with the raid suit on. And unlike Luffy, Sanji doesn't have a stamina issue. And also, unlike Luffy, remember this, the raid suit has another level of durability to it because the cape of the raid suit is more durable than the actual raid suit body. The cape, not including the anime. If we look at the manga and the manga alone, when Sanji first got the raid suit, he said, "My cape is my shield." When we see the German kids defend Capone Caesar Clown from the candy-coated bullets, they use their capes, because the bullets were designed to actually pierce their own skins. Luffy himself noted to, whoa, that looks really bad, reinforcing the notion that this is not a scrub-level attack by any measure, and yet still, virtually 0 damage. And the cherry on top of that very delicious dessert is the fact that Sanji was able to sneak past King and Queen and save Momonosuke. And there's a very, very, very good chance that either Queen or King or both do have observation haki, and yet still they could not sense Sanji at all. And the man was right next to them. Based on those facts, Sanji, I think, can beat Doflamingo in a one-on-one fight. However, I can't give Zoro that same courtesy right now. The only thing that we've seen in Wano Country that's actually pretty good on Zoro's part, I think, is him defeating Killer. But even that comes with a big-ass caveat because, well, he also got one-shotted by Killer. Oh, God! And I know some of you guys will be like, what the, but Yukimaru. You see, the problem with this whole thing with Zoro is that a lot of you people, that sounds kind of, sounds kind of you people, oh my God. A lot of the Zoro fanboys and fangirls, they will give Zoro that courtesy against Yukimaru and Killer, which is fine, fair enough. Because I'd argue without Yukimaru, Killer won't get that good of a shot. But at the same time, they won't give Apu that same courtesy when Apu was focused on Drake the entire time and Zoro wasn't anywhere even close to drinking Apu, and then Zoro came out of nowhere, and even still Zoro doesn't one-shot Apu. I am again comfortable with the idea that Sanji can defeat the Flamingo at this point in time with the raid suit. However, that also meant that I had to raise Zoro by default because Zoro and Sanji are out-argue within proxy one another. Kind of like how I would do with Kaido and Big Mom, or Inuarashi and Nekomamushi, something like that. I need to see Zoro do a lot more. Then I could put him over Doflamingo. Feat-wise, that is comparable to Gear 4 Bowman. He hasn't done that yet. Folks may say, whoa, well, Pika what? Pikachu? No, listen to me. Pika! Listen to me. Look here! Zoro's Pika feat is not comparable to anything in Gear 4 Bowman. You see, before Zoro did the 3,000, 3 million, 3 billion, 3 trillion, heaven and hell, Yggdrasil world split and cut down Pika in two, whatever the name is. I don't know what the name is, man. I really don't to this day. I forget the name all the damn time. Before Zoro does that split, he's able to actually split Pika before that, mind you. With I think a Phoenix Pound Cannon. I think it's a 720 Phoenix Pound Cannon. I could be wrong on that one. And Luffy with the Grizzly Magnum is able to blow out Pika's whole face. Gear 4 is a whole other beast. And then Denjiro too, but again, that was 2-sword Zoro, not 3-sword Zoro. So there's all these different things going on here. Zoro has to show me the feats. Sanji and King the Wildfire clashed. Sanji was able to block his kick, full on. I mean, do I need to say it again? I don't have to say it again. I don't. I really don't. So, yes. That may get some feathers ruffled, I'm fine with that one. That one's okay with me. Honest to God. Sanji has the feats. Zoro does not have the feats. And the feats are just as important as portrayal. So, that is my top 30 list. The full stream, the full 10-hour extravaganza is in the description box down below. I'm going to catch y'all later. Peace out. Have a nice one.